fourth round pick. Can you talk about him?
Jake Ferguson. Obviously, we had a chance to visit him at the combine and had really good grades on him. I think his versatility, both on the ball, off the ball, tough guy. Grew up in it. Really liked his attitude and his demeanor. I think he's an excellent fit for our guys.
So obviously, when you look at that press conference, the first thing that I would want everybody to notice is the body language. Most people that study body language just say 80% of communication is in body language. So when you watch the press conference, right, and you look, when they asked about Jake Ferguson, the first thing that happened is you saw Will McClay and Jerry Jones look right at Mike McCarthy. So that gives some clues. If you think and if you agree that 80% of communication is body language, what is that body language saying when you see the first question about Ferguson and two of the decision makers look right at Mike McCarthy? They're saying that this is likely Mike McCarthy's guy. So y'all stay with Boss Cowboy Sports, because we're going to explain every aspect of Jake Ferguson as a pick. I do believe this is a very good pick, and we gonna go through it. We got the film, we got everything. So first thing we gonna do is look at the Boss Cowboy Guide and what I said in the Boss Cowboy Guide. So if you look at the Boss Cowboy Guide, I wrote about him before he was drafted. Actually, this year I had a record amount of people that I put in the book that was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. So obviously I'm getting better at identifying talent that fit us. So I said Jake Ferguson has a lot of Jason Witten vibes coming into the NFL. Like Witten, Ferguson is not super athletic, but also he does all the little things like Witten. If one can wrap up many little things in one tight end, then that tight end can become a great tight end. And that's from my book. So when I talk about his athleticism, yes, you don't see it, especially when you look at that 40 time. It's very slow. 4.81. It's nothing to, write home about. You're not going to be excited. You're not going to see a huge vertical. But I still gave him a grade of round 3 or round 4 as not a grade, but a target area, because of him fitting the types of tight ends that Dallas Cowboys look for. And he had all the tools. So if we get right into his film, right, I want to first start with his passing. So if we look at him as a passing weapon, the first thing that I'm going to show you is that he has exceptional hands. There are some pluses and minuses about him, but the first thing is that he's very exceptional, and he does what we saw Dalton Schultz do all year. He's very intuitive at finding those soft spots in the zone. He's going to do it all day long, but the most important thing about him is he's reliable. He catches everything. So here we go again, finding a soft spot in the zone, and he's just going to do that all day long. But the key thing and the most important thing, especially looking at him as a weapon, is the fact that his hands are like glue. And we're going to make that case over and over. And because he was so reliable in the biggest games, they targeted him the most. Okay. So he's a very, very good guy in terms of a weapon. And he was playing with a very, very bad quarterback. All right. And so just like we saw Schultz do all year, he finds those soft spots in the zone. And check this out. This is one of the catches I want y'all to see him make. And he's just going to do this continuously. I mean, he drops nothing. This ball is bad. Horrible ball. And he goes and get it like it's nothing. I mean, glue hands, high points the ball, and he comes down with it, and he's going to do it all day long. I mean, even if he got a one-handed, this is one of the plays to where, once again, I said bad quarterback play, but you're going to see him make a crazy circus catch and take a hit. He drops nothing. Glue hands. So That's one of the Witten's things about him. The things that's not like Witten is he's not as fundamental as Witten when it comes to routes. But Witten was also fantastic at finding those holes in the zone. So right here, he's going to do a good job at man coverage of going away from the man. But the quarterback makes another bad decision and takes off. But he actually won on that route, and Ferguson didn't get his target. But he needs work on body language, and what I mean is receiver style body language. Like here, he runs at a 45-degree angle, so it's pretty obvious that he's finna turn up field. If you're trying to sell an out and up, you got to actually turn your shoulders 90 degrees, which is going to communicate to that defender that you're going on the out, and then you actually cut up, which gives you the separation. So his route running needs better polish if he's going to truly be Witten-ish, because Witten sold all the little things. He sold it. You thought every time, you really didn't know, because he was deceptive in his routes. He wasn't fast. Witten was never fast, but he was perfectly deceptive and had perfect body language in terms of selling a route. And this guy needs to work on that. That's one thing Ferguson needs to go to the lab on. But I trust that they're going to work on that, because we have one of the best tight end coaches also in the league. So I'm certain they're going to polish him all the way up. So if you think I'm playing, all you got to go do is go check Jim Nagy, who's one of the leaders of the Senior Bowl, and he's always on the NFL Network. This is what he quoted in talking about our guy, Jake Ferguson, with the Dallas Cowboys. And he said this February 19th, way before the draft. This was as he was evaluating all the talent that was at the Senior Bowl. He said, you can make a strong argument that at Badger football, tight end Jake Ferguson has the most natural hands of any prospect. He didn't say tight end. He said any prospect. That means out of all receivers, all running backs, all tight ends, he has the most natural hands out of any prospect in the 2022 NFL draft. The guy literally catches everything. That's what he said. One of the best grabs of at Senior Bowl week here with great backline awareness and toe tap. That's what we dealing with. So Jake Ferguson has a lot in him if he can develop with the Dallas Cowboys, and I think he will. He's coming in with very low pressure, being a number 2 receiver behind Schultz. So he's going to be able to build his confidence and potentially become a tight end 1, maybe in about a year or 2. But we all got to be patient during his development. So one of the major things that people have a problem with, especially with Schultz, is his blocking. So a lot of us is going to ask that question, as we should. What is his blocking like? So let's take a look. So if we take a look at him in the blocking game, one of the things you're going to know is that he kills on blocks when he does the fundamental things like just driving his feet. Here you go, going against one of the top defensive ends that was drafted in the 2nd round, and he demolishes them. Yeah, that's what you want to see. You want to see our 4th rounder. You want to see our 4th rounder demolishing a 2nd round defensive end. And it's going to happen only when he does all the fundamental things right, like drive his feet. Pure pancake. And that's what you want to see. And that's something you might see out of Schultz maybe once a season. You go see him do this about 2 or 3 times this game. But another thing, as I watch him and just taking a look at him block, he's physical. There you go again, giving the defensive end a shoulder check, and it was unnecessary. But this is one of his bad blocks to me, because he doesn't run his feet. So I would want him to be hungrier in his blocks. Oh, I didn't finish that play. I'm sorry. He got dunked on his head. But anyway, I want to show where when he doesn't drive his feet, he doesn't finish the same way when he does drive his feet and he really gets a good block on these guys. So, and he's a tight end that pretty much allows the guys to pick a side and then he finishes them to either side. So, you know, when I'm watching his blocking, I see a very good fundamental blocker. I see a physical blocker, but I see a physical blocker when he does the little things right, like drive his feet. And we're going to just kind of show a couple of more plays, and then we're going to kind of break down everything about him. We go talk about the press conference and what they had to say at the press conference about him, so we can get a good feel of how they see him and really how Mike McCarthy sees him. So here we go again. You can see his legs were dead, and he didn't really get any push on that block. But then when we watch him on the next play, and it's gonna probably be the play after this, you're gonna see him once he drives his legs and he does all the fundamental things right, he's gonna get tremendous push on some of these guys. Here we go. Yeah. So this is coming from a tight end that's getting good push on a second round defensive end. That's exactly what you want to see. I have a couple of more blocking plays here where he gives the quarterback plenty of time. He holds up, no harm, no foul. Good job. And here he is again, just watching them block over and over, same game. And we can look at multiple games, but the question is he getting the job done? And I would say absolutely he is. Like, some blocks are better than others, but he gets the job done. Some blocks he absolutely finishes. Sometimes he's friendly. Like right here, I feel like he was friendly. Like if you watch him on this block, he has the guy off balance, but he doesn't drive his feet. When you have him off balance, you can finish him. I don't need you tapping me on my head. I need you to know that I tried to take your soul. So I would want to see more consistency out of him, but for the most part, as a blocker, he gets it done. But when he puts it all together, he will outright finish you. Right there, he gets the block. It's an okay block. It wasn't nothing really physical about it, but he gives the running back the room to make the cut, and he gets the game. But I still would want to see him finish better if I'm being very critical of what I would want to see out of him. But is he a willing blocker? Absolutely. He runs his feet right there on the combo block. He gets the job done. So we looking at him. We looking at a guy that has tremendous hands. I mean, great hands. But we looking at a guy that's not as consistent when he on his physicality. But when he does, he kills you. Here's a block right here where he runs his feet and boom, there you go again. A beautiful pancake. I mean, beautiful, drives him right into the ground. And that's exactly what you want to see. Same play, different angle, drives his feet, and he kills him. He finishes him. Here we go. Check him out. Running his feet and runs him into the ground. Woo! And that's exactly what you want to see all day long. So as we breaking down everything about Jake Ferguson, let's look at the press conference, because the press conference go tell us a lot.
Those tight ends at Wisconsin considered like linemen, like, you know, they obviously block well there. Is he one of those guys that can block on the line?
Yeah, I think he can play both on the line and off the line. You know, I think he'll be good in the insert schemes. You know, makes competitive catches, plays with some tenacity. Like I said, I was real excited to, you know, based on where we had him ranked and everything. So to have him available there was excellent.
Good football background with Alvarez, man, his granddad.
Coach Alvarez.
Grew up with it.
How much did you talk to him, Mike, during that process? I don't know if you called him on the phone or.
Me personally, just had a chance to meet him at the combine. He was one of our interviews there. So, yeah. So it was, you know, obviously spent a lot of time at the University of Wisconsin and was always in the locker room and obviously had a lot of good positive feedback about him.
See, that's a very big thing that Mike McCarthy just snuck in there. It's the fact that, remember, he was in Green Bay. He got a lot of connections with Wisconsin. So he was getting a lot of intel from the locker room on him. And when I looked around too, I would get the same things. Like, just looking around, this guy said on somebody else's channel, but I just took a screenshot of it because I like when I see third-party validation from people that are not affiliated with the Cowboys. This guy said, I'm a huge Badger fan and a Raider fan, but Jake Ferguson was the #1 receiver for Wisconsin. He is very amazing, and he blocked for JT or Taylor. That's who he's talking about, Jonathan Taylor, when he was there as well. I'm telling you, he is good. Y'all are gonna love this pick. And that's what I like to see. But that showed you just keeping it real, especially listening to Mike McCarthy talking about how he worked the Wisconsin locker room to get more intel on this guy. This is a Mike McCarthy pick.
Well, do you know his grandfather?
Cordially. Yeah, I've had a chance to be around Coach Alvarez a number of times, and obviously what he means to the University of Wisconsin. And, hey, he's got a statue in front of the stadium. I think that says it all.
Yeah. So that's clearly a Mike McCarthy guy. I mean, this is obvious can be, especially when you look at the body language. We go show it again. They literally asked about Jake Ferguson, and just look at the first thing that happened. Everybody looked at him. They looking right at him. That's your guy. Explain him. That is your guy. Talk about it. It is clear. Steven and McCarthy was in on. I'm not saying they was out on him, but you can tell whose guy it is. It's clear. So y'all stay with Boss Cowboy Sports, because we've been displaying breakdowns of each one of these draft picks, going through the film, trying to give you the background, and trying to read the tea leaves of likely how they're going to be used and what's going to be their skill sets as they coming in. So y'all make sure y'all go watch some of these videos if you haven't yet. So we still did the breakdown of Tyler Smith, which is doing real good. We also did a breakdown of Sam Williams, and that one is doing good. Surprisingly, Damone Clark is our best video so far out of all the. I guess a lot of people had questions about him, and we answered a lot of the questions. So y'all just continue to check out Boss Cowboy Sports as we do these breakdowns. And likely, I am going to go live tonight because I have some major problems with the rumors of the grades that's been out there. They're not treating us right, and I'm going to address it. We're going to have a freestyle about it. So y'all stay up, man. It's Boss Cowboy Sports with your voice matter. Peace.